After 25 years, we finally know Ichigo's true Bankai. Blood chains Ichigo. But the even crazier reveal is that Orihime's true power is only comparable to the Soul King, which makes their son Kazui even more broken during the Hell Arc. This entire episode reveals Kubo's grand plan to set up the Hell Arc with Ichigo's kid. But how will bro have a kid when the mom just died? Well, for that, we need to take a look at the battle between Blood Chains Ichigo versus Yhwach, who recovers easily from the Gran Rei Sero Getsuga Tensho combo. Ichigo's Horn of Salvation does nothing to phase him. Instead, Yhwach starts blasting some Black Reiatsu Ichigo's way. This blackness is actually a power of the Soul King, representing the primordial chaos of reality itself, which explains how Ichibei is able to control the Soul King for all this time, as he can steal and control all of black, and that's how he planned to make Ichigo the replacement Soul King. Bro is the real cosmic mastermind of the Bleach universe. Keep this Black Reiatsu in mind, because it plays a big role in Ichigo's true final Bankai. It is also the same blackness we see coming out of Mugetsu Ichigo in his fight against Aizen. With this power of black, Ichigo gets body slammed and even gets stabbed by Yhwach's Reishi Greatsword. Luckily, Orihime is there to save her future husband by rejecting all of his wounds. Realizing how dangerous her powers are, Yhwach slams Orihime, even zipping over her shield to stab her, but she rejects it over and over again. Orihime is repeatedly defying God. That's how broken her power of rejection are, which comes with a few downsides as it literally is breaking her mind. However, Orihime absolutely did not want to be helpless while Ichigo was fighting the literal Soul King, who constantly mocks Ichigo's power of friendship and his ideology of protection. Yhwach's whole character is about despair, living by killing his own species and hearing their death cries, just like what he is making Orihime experience by killing her over and over and then making her watch him kill Ichigo. But before he keeps up the torture, Rukia shows up and freezes Yhwach's Black Reiatsu, which is an insane feat, okay? Rukia is strong, but she's not that strong, which makes me think that Yhwach let that one slide. And it's evident when Yhwach instantly merges his eyes to throw a Sero-like laser to erase the three from existence. However, the sky turned red. There was a sudden lunar eclipse covering everything in pure black. Then Ichigo Kurosaki utters the magic words, Bankai, and we see his face with the two horns activating his complete hollow form for the first time ever. This is true Bankai Ichigo, and unlike in the manga, we get a direct visual confirmation that this Bankai is Soul King level because it emits pure black Reiatsu. Yep, it all comes to that Reiatsu and the power of black. Ichibei has influence even in our reality, as if you look at the info card in the episode, it is censored. This is Ichibei's handiwork. This guy has been censoring and hiding Ichigo's power since the beginning, hiding Old Man Zangetsu's name, and it seems he has been doing the same to White as well. So let me explain what this power of black is all about, because it's the most broken power in all of Bleach. There is a reason this manga is called Bleach, because Kubo has been playing with the relationship between black and white since the very beginning, and the biggest clue has always been Ichigo's Black Getsuga Tensho. We first saw it when White took control of Ichigo against Byakuya. Even Byakuya immediately noticed that something about Ichigo had completely changed. Then later, when Ichigo fought Ulquiorra, he straight up compared Ichigo's Black Getsuga to the attacks of the Espada. At the time, we thought this was simply Ichigo using hollow power on top up of Shinigami abilities. However, after everything but the rain episode, we learned the real truth. White was never some random hollow living inside of Ichigo. White is connected to Ichigo's true Zanpakuto. Aizen, Gin, and Tosen specifically created White as an artificial hollow made from the souls of Soul Reapers, meaning from the moment White was born, he already broke the natural rules of the Bleach universe. He was a hollow with the nature of a Shinigami, and despite being called White, his entire body was black. Black and white are the two purest colors in manga itself. Every Bleach page is literally constructed from the relationship between these two colors, and Kubo constantly uses them to represent powers and characters that should be complete opposites, yet somehow exist together. The pages of a manga's reality are created with black and white. White is the perfect example. He is a hollow created from Shinigami. He's called White despite being covered in black, and even his hollow hole is abnormal. Normally, the hollow hole represents the heart that a hollow has lost, while another part of that heart becomes the hollow's mask. But White's hole is already filled. When a hollow removes its mask, that power is sealed inside its Zanpakuto. So in Bleach, there has always been this relationship between the hollow's heart, the mask, and the sword. And White takes that concept even further. White infects Masaki, Ichigo's mother, and his power is inherited by Ichigo. Then that hollow power merges directly with the Shinigami powers Ichigo inherited from Isshin, meaning the creature Ichigo spends half the story treating like an invading monster is actually fused into the foundation of Zangetsu himself. This is why White constantly tells Ichigo that he is Zangetsu. Ichigo spends most of Bleach separating himself into other pieces. The Soul Reaper is Ichigo, the Hollow is a monster, the Quincy power is Old Man Zangetsu, but the entire point is that they are all Ichigo. And that brings me back to the Black Ryatsu and Ichigo's true blood chains Bankai, which allows him to literally slash fate itself. This isn't the first time he has used such a power though. There was Mugetsu. Before Ichigo learns the final Getsuga Tensho, White and Tensa Zangetsu literally merge into a single being, black and white, two supposedly incompatible halves becoming one. And when Ichigo finally accepts that fusion, he becomes Getsuga itself, symbolized by his hair turning black and his body wrapped in black. While Mugetsu releases an overwhelming ocean of pure black power originating straight from the primordial energy of the Soul King himself, capable of cutting down a transcendent Aizen. And with his new true Bankai, shit is like on steroids, okay? Ichigo's entire existence is a rule break for the reality of Bleach. It's the same concept for Orihime too, with her powers of rejection. That's why these two are so pivotal in fighting against the literal god of the universe, Soul King Yhwach. Even though he controls the rules of the world, it doesn't matter to the ones that it never applied to. Furthermore, when we see the paper burn away in the episode, it reveals two words: Chains Ichigo, confirming that this new form is called Blood Chains Ichigo. Here, Ichigo has two horns, meaning his hollow form from the fight with Ulquiorra is complete, but he has no mask. Remember, the Arrancar mask is the Zanpakuto and the blade is me, so Ichigo's human face is visible here. He wears the fur tufts on his neck and wrists from his Vasto Lorde form, but now they turn into chains, blood chains. That's because Ichigo's clothing is actually part of his Bankai, meaning the entire outfit is formed from his Reiatsu. So these chains are just a visual effect. They're literally manifesting as part of the Bankai itself. Most of all, his skin turns red, just like Kenpachi's Bankai. This is almost too much of a coincidence because Kenpachi's form is a clear homage to the Oni in Japanese myth. The Oni are demons that come from the hells of Buddhism, which completes the entire Hell arc blueprint. Those chains were originally from the fourth movie, Hellverse, which binds the sinners of hell to eternal damnation. The chains of fate are removed to create the hollow hole. The soul chains that give Soul Reapers their powers get turned into chains that trap sinners of all species in hell. So yeah, we know Kubo hated this movie since a lot of his concepts were ignored by the OG anime team. But now Kubo is hands-on with the 1000-year Blood War team, so he could finally go all out and give us a hint of what he's cooking for the upcoming Hell Arc manga chapters. What all of this means is that Holification gets a massive upgrade with the power of Hell, just like in the movie, which was able to reach multiversal levels of power, but now this level of power in Bleach is canonized and fits right in. Kubo's real concept for the Hellverse is Hollow Ichigo with Hell Chains as his final form. Ichigo even uses it exactly like how the Hellverse villain Kabuto did, turning them into a shield to block Yhwach's Serral beams that nearly killed everyone. But that's just the beginning of the madness, because we see true Bankai Ichigo use Sonido to make shadow clones. Each time Yhwach cuts down Ichigo, more Ichigos appear all around, and Yhwach with his Soul King eyes could barely react. Yep, apparently 7th Espada Zomari is relevant now, as Ichigo created Gemelo's Sonido, the speed clone technique of the Arankar, but that was only limited to 5 bodies, while Ichigo is spamming infinite black clones. Basically, Getsuga shadow clones, bro. This is next level broken, okay? Yhwach even gives Sasuke's loneliness speech when he sees this boot. But those shadow clones weren't just there for show. They are part of Ichigo's Black Soul King Reiatsu, which he constantly emits from just existing. So when he gathers all of that Reiatsu in one spot, we get the biggest Getsuga Tensho in all of Bleach. Big enough to create a whole crescent moon to light up the entire Soul King Palace. But Ichigo could turn his black Reiatsu into Getsuga clones. All of them are Getsuga shots. One of these black Getsuga shots ended Aizen's entire career, and he does it twice so casually at this point. So imagine if Ichigo poured in every bit of Reiatsu to go beyond this point. But against the new Soul King, all this does is scatter Yhwacha's slimy body. Rukia pulls out her Bankai, Haka no Hogame, and freezes Yhwach in place, giving Ichigo the opportunity to finish him off, creating a second Getsuga Tensho Black Moon. Now, surely this ends Yhwach for good, right? Nope. Nope, he's still alive. Instead, Rukia is crucified by Yhwach's sword, and Ichigo was about ready to die here too. Luckily, Orihime exists, and just like when Aizen stomped on all the captains and Ichigo couldn't do anything, Orihime is in the exact same position now. Weakened, she begs for her power to be stronger over and over again, and then finally, Orihime snaps. Her Shun Rika split up as she gives her roll call to her 6 spirits. Here, Orihime makes her wish. Bro, this is like some adult Gon shit, okay? She uses everything she has and wishes for so much power that she cannot contain it. All to take on Yhwach's entire being. All to save Ichigo, just like all those times he has done for her. She is covered in red Rika shield that rejects her weakness, rejects Ichigo and Rukia's deaths, rejects her injuries, and rejects Yhwach from existence itself. Bro, what is this power? This shit is beyond busted, okay? She is one of the strongest in Bleach. Bro, we told you guys years on that Orihime video how broken her power really is, and now we're actually seeing it in the anime. Orihime is genuinely one of the biggest wild cards in the entire series. People thought she just heals and makes shields, bro. But nope, she has the power to warp reality, rejecting literally all phenomenon from existence, whether it is injuries or a whole person. But all of this comes from the Hogyoku, which we know from the light novels has fragments of the Soul King. The light novels also confirm that all Fullbringers gained their power to control the soul of objects because of the Soul King fragments inside of them from birth. Like Ichigo and Chad, Orihime got a double awakening through her exposure to the Rukia, the vessel of Urahara's Hogyoku. Out of all the Fullbringers, Orihime surpassed them all. For all of Bleach, she has been slated by Aizen himself as the only one with the power to violate divine law. And the reason for that is because of what Orihime represents to the world of Bleach. Her character represents the power of love, which is highlighted by their flower. For Orihime and Ichigo, Kubo uses fire lilies to represent passion and rebirth. This is why Orihime named their son Kazui, who is going to be the next most pivotal character in the next Hell arc of Bleach. And this entire episode is designed to showcase just how busted bro is gonna be. Kazui is their fire lily, combining their energies and unique powers, which alter fate and reality itself. The fire lily also eerily looks like Yamamoto's Bankai. Yamamoto said when that monster, his Bankai, would appear in Soul Society, he would die. Instead of one fire lily, we see two. One dies so the other can live. That's why the end of the episode shows two of these flowers symbolizing Ichigo and Orihime's love. When one of the flower dies, its petals fall as a butterfly passes by them. Butterflies represent change and growth, Orihime's growth at the cost of her life. This setup is where Kubo cooks his real magic, because in the Breaths from the Hell one-shot, the jailer of Hell, Zael Poro, leaves the Soul Reapers with one lingering question. Why do the Hell butterflies have the word Hell in their name? And it all ties to the destiny placed on Ichigo and Orihime that might even go beyond Ichibe's multiversal power, because Hell is the second dimension to exist alongside the primordial chaos. If life is black, Hell has to be white. Ichigo's white is a black life form with a white core. Ichigo's hollow is a Zanpakuto remade by Aizen by cosmic coincidence, and Orihime is a Fullbring, but unlike others, she awakened a power beyond Soul King level. The Soul King's black could rewrite reality and see the future like the Almighty, but only Orihime can completely erase those concepts from existence by unlocking the fullness of that power. Orihime is able to reject even her own existence, and we have seen that happening in both ways. Ichigo's son Kazui inherited Orihime's reality rejection, which is how he was able to erase Yhwa's Reiatsu from existence forever at the end of the Bleach manga. Just like how his mom vaporizes Yhwa from existence, it all links back to Hell, bro. Kubo is a cooking chat. I cannot wait for the Bleach manga to continue in October. But coming back to the episode, Orihime says she will take on everything, every burden for the man she loves, but not so fast. Remember what she said about living 5 different lives to keep falling in love with the same man? Because this line actually foreshadowed the anime's biggest plot twist yet, as everything we have seen so far after the moment Ichigo said Bankai was just a vision. Y'all saw that color change, right? That was the visual cue for things not being what they seem. This is all part of Yhwa's Almighty, the ability to see the future, but the manga only shows us Yhwa predicting moves and breaking shit. This whole episode shows us exactly why this power is almighty. Yhwa basically lived through a parallel world where Bleach ended with Orihime self-destructing to erase Yhwa. But this parallel world is just one grain of sand in the Bleach multiverse. You see, Yhwa's almighty allows him to see every possible future not in a straight line, but as countless grains of sand in the wind. Ichigo can change the future by hopping on each grain of sand, but Yhwa can see and erase every one of them as he pleases. So in experiencing that future with his eyes, by letting Ichigo cook, he can burn his ass way harder. It's almost like Orihime's reality rejection power, but rather than with the power of love, it is driven by the power of true despair. By being defeated in one possible future, Yhwa can break every other future after that point. Not even Orihime can keep up with that nonsense, except of course if she got help from Tsukishima's Fullbring ability. Book of the End is the perfect counter to Yhwa's almighty. He can insert his presence into anyone's past to learn his enemy's next move and control their lives by inserting himself as their most important person. By stabbing Ichigo and entering his past, Tsukishima was able to restore Ichigo by creating an alternate past timeline where Ichigo's Bankai was never destroyed. But he lacks the god level power to to make it even more broken. Orihime had that means, but unlike in the manga, Orihime had God mode activated. So not only we are gonna see Blood Chains Ichigo again, but possibly something else even more broken than that. God rejection plus Hell Blood Chains and the Fire Lily symbolism results in a being unlike anything else, bro. Ichigo will become a phoenix, serving as the bridge between gods and mortals. This could be why Ichigo's son Kazui manifested two cloud-like fish in the sky to ride on. Those fish could be Ukitake Zanpakuto, Sogyo no Kotowari. But since he is in hell, it is possible that the Zanpakuto spirits are more separated, or perhaps Kazui can borrow its power through his god-breaking powers. Just imagine Kazui stealing Bankais like Yhwach, bro, because it's all possible now. Kazui was always tied to hell with his introduction, but we got all of the pieces of the puzzle together thanks to the anime now. Now, next episode, Yhwach will likely break Ichigo's Bankai just like in the manga, sucking up his Hollow and Quincy powers, but with Blood Chains Ichigo, we now know that there are the powers of hell within his body as well, shown by those blood chains and his skin turning red. Perhaps Kubo will change the ending of Bleach to better bridge our way into the Hell arc. Who knows? The ending was just one of the grains of sands, maybe. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. That episode was insanely peak. Like, this video wasn't even planned, guys. Like, we were going crazy in chat watching this video, and I had to talk about this episode. Man, today was supposed to be my break day, okay? Instead, I scripted this Bleach video. Too good. The episode was too good, okay? I'll see you guys next time.